Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another evening of Gator basketball with Port Allegany Gators versus Northern Potter. And currently, I'm the only one up here in the booth, so we're going to have a stationary camber. Yeah, there we go. Words are not working for me. Camera right now is going to be the best shot I've got until I can get a cameraman operator here, as we are only volunteer driven up here at the stream team. So for the Gators coming out, we got Yeager, Kistler, Kauser, Capel, and Smith. And for Nopo, we have Katie. Ball's gone over to Port Allegany. I'll get the numbers here for Northern Potter. We got Lewis, Snyder, Hoops, and Sherman. So as Smith swings at the Capel, down to Kauser, down to Kistler. He misses his layup. Sherman gets it up to Hoops. Swinging it back around, looking for an opportunity. Hands it off and gets a travel. Katie does as it's handed off. Turns it over. Yeager down to Smith. Thought seconds of it. Skip pass. Capel down to Kauser. Kauser gets the ball stripped and picked up by Ferner. And Sherman tried to get it up to Snyder. Nope. Nope, not Snyder. My apologies. I'm still getting the numbers. I just got in here. Hoops. And Smith is able to tip that one out, and ball moves further up the sideline. As Port Allegany is in a man defense. Sherman's able to move past Smith, hands it over to Katie. Down to Snyder. Snyder, bounce pass. A little miscommunication there, but great idea. That was Ferner had a wide open run to go in there. Smith in the corner for three. Off the back rim, no good. Sorry about that, folks. Just got a message saying that my sound went off about 5 minutes ago. I've been sitting here talking to myself the whole time. And we're back anyways with 1:36 left in the first quarter. Katie goes ahead and misses his 2 free throws, but they get it over to Hoops. Hoops, no good, and a pushing in the back foul. That's going to go against Nopo. Snyder, that is his first, team's first. Yeager just skipped over to shot. Causer. Capel puts it up. Rebounded by Hoops. Down to Sherman, over to Snyder. Snyder, three-point shot. No good off the back of the rim. Hoops, though, able to get the rebound and put it back up for 2. Making the score 5-4 with 58 seconds left. Capel down to Kistler. Over to Yeager. Yeager, three-point shot, short. Kistler's able to get it. Capel drives. Dishes to Causer. Spin move by Causer. Puts it up, no good. Rebound by Kistler, but it was stripped out. And sorry, folks, I'm getting messages all the time, so I'm actually trying to getting bombarded here. 28 seconds left. Yeager, Kistler, Capel, down to Causer. Shot with a three-point shot. In and out. Rebound by Hoops. Tries to dish it up to Sherman. Sherman tried to dish it out, but Hoops, and there's an intermission, last second shot. And we're going to take a quick minute break here as the Port Allegany cheerleaders cheer on the crowd. Alrighty, folks, as we come out of the intermission, start of the second quarter, Lewis comes in for Nopo, but the score is still 5-4. And a foul called against Port Allegany's shot with a hold. That'll be his first. Team's second. Lewis down low for Nopo. Has Sherman dish it out. And Hoops with a three. Making it 7-5. Katie tried to jump that pass, but they were able to get it down to Causer. Causer is able to put it for 2. Sherman down to Lewis. Back over to Hoops. Back to Sherman, over to Snyder. To Katie. Katie almost gets it stripped away. Dishes it back out. That is back and forth here, folks. And a backdoor possibility to Lewis, but a little miscommunication there. Capel gets it down to Schott in a hurry. Schott takes a second chance, goes to Cozard. Down, gets it down to Kistler, and Kistler gets fouled. That will be on Katie, his first, team's third. Kistler over to Schott. Capel, 3-point, good. That is Capel's second three of the night, making the score 10-7. Normally I have a couple other people up here with me chit-chatting on the other headset, but tonight apparently I'm all by myself. Smith gets the ball, his shot, it tipped it away, brings it up, thought about an opportunity, but Capel sees Kistler down low, feeds it to him, gets him for two. With 5 minutes left, Sherman to Katie, back to Snyder, and Lewis with a nice power move, lays it up for two to inch that lead just a little bit shorter. Smith down to Causer, and Snyder jumping that passing lane, able to tip it out of bounds, stays Port Allegany ball. To get it over to Capel, down to Schott, Causer, back over to Capel. Port Allegany's moving the ball really well. Schott with a big skip pass, no good. Rebound by Katie, and Nopo opts to bring it up slowly. Sherman gets over to Hoops. As Nopo's in a little bit of a weave pattern. Hoops tried to get to Lewis, another miscommunication. Schott drives, lays it up, and no good. Rebound by Hoops. And back down the court they go. Nopo only down by 3 with 3:51 left in the half. Lewis trying to make a move, has to emergency dish out to Katie. He loses the ball. Back over to Sherman, and Sherman took too many steps for a travel and turns the ball over. Yeager comes in for Capel. Smith, as Nopo looks to be in a zone defense at that 2-1-2. Kistler to Causer. Causer, big power step for two. And Nopo is called a timeout, and that'll be a 30-second timeout. I'm just going to quickly rest my voice. Alrighty, as we come out of it, Lewis tries to get it in, but Schott is there to tip it back out of bounds. Stays Nopo ball. Back over to Sherman. 3:08 left in the half. And we got a carry call on Sherman as that turns the ball over. Causer gets it into Yeager. Yeager slowly to bring it up. Gators only have a 5-point lead. Yeager looking for a possibility. Tries a lazy pass into Causer, but Hoops is there to break it up. Sherman drives. And fouls him. That'll be his second, team's third. I must have missed a foul on the part of Allegany because I don't see that here. But Sherman will go to the line for 2, trying to inch this, shorten the gap. That first one misses. 2:40 left in the half. Second one is good. Brings the lead down to 4. Smith, Yeager. Over to Schott. And Schott took too many steps. And in for the Gators, we got Capel and Luck. Sherman gets it up to Hoops. Sherman skips it over to Snyder, but that just had a little too much zip on it and goes out of bounds. 2:15 left. I apologize you can't see the clock up there in the upper left, but I do tell you that it is counting down there. We got 2 minutes. Causer, spin move. No good. Lewis with the rebound. And Sherman skips it up to Hoops real quick. Hoops takes a 15-foot jumper, no good. Rebound is tipped around. Finally comes up out with it from Yeager. They skip it up to Luck. And they try to dish it down to Causer, and it's tipped back by Lewis. And Capel having to pick it up on one side. Capel picked it up on their side and then still stepped over. So he was just he had the missed timings of it. 138, Hoops. Sherman to Snyder. To Katie. Back to Sherman. Back to Snyder, back to Sherman. Sherman's three-point shot, no good. Rebounded by Kessler, and we got an injury officials timeout. And Smith comes in for Capel. Looked to have possibly twisted the ankle just a little bit. Yeager over to Luck. Down to Kessler. Skips it to Smith. Smith pivots. Jump shot, no good. Rebound by Hoops. Sherman sees an opportunity, gets it over to Snyder. No good on that two-pointer as his foot was on the line. And Causer brings it up with 44 seconds left in the first half. Yeager over to Smith. Kessler, Yeager, Smith, down to Causer. And that pass is jumped by Lewis. Lewis sees a cutting Hoops on the fast break. His layup no good. That rebound is tipped around. 22 and a half seconds left. Goes out of bounds. Stays no post ball. Katie looking to inbound it. Gets it into Sherman. Sherman over to Snyder. Down to Lewis. Lewis takes too many steps. Gets a turnover for the Gators. 16.6 seconds left. And Gators probably will go ahead and pull one last shot off. Wait till the last shot. Jaeger gets called for a travel with 5.1 seconds left. A lot of turnovers happening here in the first half. Lewis skips it down. Ball's tipped, but stays no pull ball. 4.6 seconds left. Just enough for one last second prayer shot if they're able to get it off. And Hoops gets a backdoor cut, no good. Katie puts it up with a hook shot just before the buzzer. Brings the lead to 2 at halftime. And we're going to take a 10-minute break. But at the half, unofficially, we have Sherman with 1 for Nopo. Katie with 4. Hoops with 5. And Lewis with 2. And for Port Allegany, we've got Causer with 2, Kistler with 4, and Capel with 6. So until then, folks, we'll be back in about 9 minutes. Alrighty, folks. Welcome back. About 3:23 left before the second half kicks off here for the JV. And Northern Powder Panthers have definitely crawled their way back into this game with a 14-12, where they're only down by 2. Now both teams can definitely take this game and run away with it. A couple of things that they need to do is definitely minimize how many of their turnovers they're actually getting, as both teams are not capitalizing on the opportunities of the turnovers that the other team is actually making. So I'm going to take another quick little break, as a couple of the as we still got about 2:26 left, as both teams are still warming up and just try to get loose again out of the timeout, or out of the halftime. Alrighty, folks, as we come out of it, Smith and Hamilton's is started for the Gators out of the second half. Yeager able to get that ball as Causer saved it, and Yeager is able to put it up for 2. Ball is inbounded, and Smith was able to break it up. It tipped out, though, by Snyder. Stays Port Allegany ball. They get the ball down to Hamilton. Hamilton scores for 2, and Port Allegany has come right out of the gate with 4 really quick points. Sherman getting her, sees a cutting Hoops, and Hoops lays it up for 2. And I just got some cameraman help. So they're still learning the camera itself. Hamilton gets it over to Smith. Smith tries to skip it down, but is tipped. Hamilton's able to come back down with it. Smith pump fakes, drives, lays it up off the glass for 2. And Snyder is able to get away from Smith, and Katie drives baseline, but is fouled by Yeager. I do believe that's his second, team's first of the half. Hoops, drives, paint, jumper, no good. Causer with the rebound. Smith over to Hamilton. Hamilton tips it to Kistler, down to Causer. Causer, left-handed layup is good. And Sherman, with a fast break from Snyder, lays it up for 2. Making it 22-16. Very quick action right out of the gate. 4:50 left in the third quarter. Kistler down to Causer. Causer layup on the baseline is good for 2. Nopo brings it up, looking to keep countering the fast-paced action that the Gators are causing. And Smith is able to get the ball and tips it away. And foul is going to be called on Nopo. And that is Snyder's second, team's first. Yeager gets it into Kistler. Smith back to Yeager. Three-point attempt is good. Sherman drives and is able to get around, but gets fouled by Hamilton. That is Hamilton's first, team's second. And we have a timeout by Nopo. We got a 30-second timeout. We're going to take a quick break. Alrighty, folks, as we come out of the timeout, Nopo gets it over to Katie. Katie, left-handed shot, jumper in the paint, no good. Rebound by Causer. They get over to Smith. Smith looks for a fast break, gets over to Hamilton. He bobbles that a little bit. Down to Kistler. Kistler sees an open lane on the baseline, lays it up, no good. And that ball is tipped out of bounds, but it stays Port Allegany ball. Capel comes in for the Gators with 3:43 left. And that ball is intercepted by Katie. Sherman gets it up to Hoops. Hoops down to Furner. But that is intercepted by Kistler. Hamilton, quick fast break. Didn't see a wide open Smith on the side, on the lane. Capel down to Kistler. Kistler, quick paint elbow jumper is good for 2. Making it 29-16, and Nopo turns it over, and Gators are able to capitalize on that on a quick transition from Hamilton to Kistler for 2. And now we got a blocking foul on Capel. That is Capel's first, team's third. And in for Nopo is Lewis. Hopefully that's a little fresh legs. With the score of 31-16. Sorry, I'm not pressing all the buttons yet. And Sherman's pass was tipped and intercepted by Capel. Skipped down to Smith. Smith loses the ball. Lewis comes up with it down to Sherman. Sherman fast break. And that is blocked, but goes out of bounds and stays Nopo. With 2:37 left in the third quarter. Katie gets it down to Snyder. That ball is tipped away. Lewis unable to come up with it, and Capel's able to get it. Down to Kistler. Back to Hamilton. To Yeager. Capel. Kistler. Kistler saw a backdoor opportunity, but that ball just gets tipped and goes out of bounds. And the ball is now underneath the stands as one of the Gators goes fetching for it. At least this is volleyball season, folks. That door over there in the back, that ball would actually go out the building. Those were fun ones. As Smith now inbounds the ball with 2:13 left in the third. Long skip over to Luck. Down to Capel. To Kistler, and Kistler saw another cutting Smith in the baseline. But that's tipped. Luck. High pass over to Smith, down to Capel. Tipped again by Katie. Kistler to Smith for a three-point shot. No good. 1:56 left. Hoops. Had the ball tipped away from him by Smith, but stays Nopo ball. And Lewis's pass is intercepted. Smith bringing it up, over to Kistler. Luck, back to Smith, pump fake. And his jumper from the free throw line is no good, and he'll stay at the free throw line for 2. As that foul, I do believe, is on Sherman. That is his second. Team's first of the half. Smith's first one is no good. And Barber comes in for the Gators, and shot is set, looks to take the shooter. Second attempt. Rattles in and out, no good. Yeager able to come down with it and put it back up, and he'll go to the line for 2. That one is on Katie, his second, team's third, as Barber attempts a shot. No good, first attempt. His second attempt is nothing but net. And a little confusion, and didn't realize that it was Nopo's ball. They had to straighten that out a little bit. Sherman able to get it up across the timeline. Sees an open lane, drives hard off the back of the rim, no good. Barber is able to get over to Capel. Shot, tried to get it down to Barber, but that is tipped and Barber is not able to grab it. 1:15 left in the third. And Nopo is able to get it around the hands of Capel. Gets it down to Katie. Katie pump fakes and drives baseline, no good. Sherman over to Snyder. Katie with a long three, no good off the front of the rim. Capel with the rebound. And that ball goes out of bounds and turns it over. 46.9 seconds left. Lewis having trouble, gets it into Sherman. Sherman tried to get it down to Hoops, and that goes out of bounds. And turns it over to the Gators. Capel looking for help, gets it over to Luck. Luck back over to Capel. 25 seconds left, probably looking for one last shot. Kistler to Capel, give and goes, no good. Sherman lays it up for two, good. Shot. Go to Kistler. Kistler with a little runner jumper, good for two. And there's the quarter with a current score of 34-18. Port Allegany in the lead. We'll be right back. Alrighty, folks, as we come out of it, Smith is in for the Gators. As Nopo retains possession. Sherman over to Hoops. Nice spinning move on by Lewis. Lewis is able to put it up for two. Making it 34-20. Luck, Hamilton, shot. Back over to Hamilton. Over to Luck. Down to Barber. Luck for a three-point shot, no good. And that went off of Port Allegany. As Sherman gets it over to Hoops. Hoops lays it up for two, no good. Lewis came down with the rebound, but gets it tapped out by Barber. Stays no pull ball. Katie was able to just get it in. Sherman drives paint, gets an opportunity. And Sherman's attempt was no good. Rebounded by Lewis, but Lewis is able to put it back up, but is fouled by Smith, his first, team's fourth. And Lewis will go to the line for two. Lewis's second shot is good. Hamilton gets it into Luck with 6 minutes left. And Luck saw an opening for Barber, but Hoops was able to close it down. As Sherman tries to do a fast break. Doesn't see it and gets it over to Snyder. Snyder gets an opportunity lane, lays it up and is fouled and one basket good. And that is Shot's third, team's fifth. With 5:45. Snyder's attempt is good. Get into Luck. With 34-24, Nopo now slowly scraping that lead away. Hamilton skip pass over to Shot. Shot, power move step, no good. Rebound by Katie. Sherman over to Hoops. Hoops, big three-point shot right there. And get a timeout by Port Allegany. That'll be a full timeout. We'll be back in 60 seconds. Alrighty, as we come out of timeout intermission, for the Gators, we got Capel, Yeager, and Smith back in. Hamilton over to Smith. Smith drives, lays it up for two. Makes it 36-27. Capel, trying his dangdest, is able to pick the ball up. And Snyder had lost it, and Capel is able to lay it up for two, uncontested. Ferner skips it over to Hoops. Ferner having trouble. Capel able to jump that pass. And as he was trying to get to Hamilton, gets a traveling call and turns it back over. Sherman comes back in. Lewis able to get it in. Over to Hoops. Down to Lewis. Sherman, three-point shot, no good. Actually, that was a 2-point, according to the referee. I didn't see the foot on the line. But Smith drives, lays a little floater up, and that's good for two. Kessler able to intercept that. Gets it over to Capel, and Capel is fouled by Snyder. That is his third, according to my unofficial. Team's fourth. With 4 minutes left. Capel able to get it up to Kessler. Smith, three-point shot is good. And we've got a 30-second timeout by Northpo, and we'll be back in 30. Alrighty, folks, as we come out of it, Sherman getting hounded by Hamilton, sees Hoops. Hoops lays it up, no good. Rebound by Kistler. And Kistler is fouled by, I believe, Katie. Nope, that's by Hoops. He's fouled by Hoops. That's his first, team's fifth. With 3:39 left in the game. Capel over to Yeager. Yeager, miscommunication, gets it thrown away, but Snyder is fouled by Capel. That is Capel's second, team's sixth. To Katie, back to Snyder. Sherman, down to Lewis. That is no good. As Lewis laid it up a little too strong. Hamilton trying to drive, but sees Yeager at the top of the key. His three-point shot, no good. Able to get the tipped rebound back. That little two-pointer, no good. They get over to Kistler. Kistler with a little quick jumper. Puts it in for two. Hoops. Back over to Sherman. Down to Snyder. But Lewis loses it. And Hamilton takes off down the court. He gets fouled as he goes up for two. And he will go to the line to shoot two. That was on Sherman. That is his third, team sixth. We got a full line change coming in here. We got Smith, Barber, Schott, and Luck to come in for the shooter. And Hamilton's second shot is good. That puts the Gators up by 20 with 2:39 left. And we got a timeout by Nopo. Full timeout. We'll be right back. Alrighty, as we come back out, 2:30 left. Nopo gets it over to Lewis, and that handoff, no good. Capel tries to dribble it up, and Snyder fouls Capel. That'll be his fourth, team seventh, which triggers the bonus, and Capel will go to the line for one-on-one. His first one, no good. Rebound by Smith. Capel's shot blocked by Snyder. They get over to Sherman. Sherman drives. No good on the layup. Port Allegany is able to get across the timeline. 2 minutes left. Over to Luck. The shot. Down to Capel. Down to Smith. Luck, three-point shot, no good. Rebounded by Ferner. Sherman spins it out, gets it over to Hoops. Hoops, good for three. Makes it 47-30. with a minute 36 left. Shot, Capel to Luck. Back to Capel, down to Smith. Back to Capel. Capel, three-point shot. That's good. Capel's been a little bit of a hot hand tonight. Down to Lewis. Hoops. Has to dish it back out to Snyder. That's no good. Hoops is able to get the rebound and put it back up for two. And with 54 seconds left. Shot, tries to go baseline, but is stripped by Sherman. Try to get over to Snyder. Snyder to Lewis. Lewis dishes over to Hoops. Hoops for another three off the back of the rim. Ferner is able to come up with it. That putback, no good. As Smith gets it down, gets it over to Capel with 20 seconds left. They get across the timeline. Skip it over to Shot. To Capel. Back to Shot. Shot drives. Jumper, no good. Luck is able to come down with it. Final seconds tick away. And that's the game. Port Allegany JV Gators come away with it, 50-32. Now go ahead and stick with us here, folks, as the Varsity boys will be immediately following this. So we'll be right back with that action. Alrighty, folks. Welcome to the second game action between the Port Allegany Gators and the Northern Potter Panthers. In just a moment, we'll have our starting lineups, which I was not able to get before the game. And then we'll have our national anthem. Actually, appears we'll have the national anthem first, then the starting lineup. Little score tape, a little intermission there. For Norco, number 14, Daniels. Number 15, Kibbe. Number 21, Katie. Number 23, Smith and Ferner. And for the Gators, number 3, Jared Funk. Number 10, Blaine Moses. Number 11, Junior Braylon Button. Number 12, Drew Evans. And number 20, Noah Archer. And we'll have the tip-off here real shortly, folks. Then the play-by-play action. And we're going to have Funk and Ferner jumping for the ball. Nopo in a big defensive with Katie and Daniels back. And Ferner is able to come up with it. Get it back to Katie, back over to Daniels. Get over to Smith. Back to Daniels. Daniels loses the hand on him, and Archer comes up with it. Fast break, lays it up for 2. Archer is able to get the steal. Gets it back to Funk. Funk puts it up for 2. Smith able to get around Archer that time. And right away, within the first minute, Gators up to a 4-0 lead. And Evans with a block. That tip ball goes out to Daniels. His attempt no good. Archer gets over to Moses. Moses, 15-foot jumper, no good. And Moses gets a loose ball foul called against him. That'll be his first, team's first. Dan Smith, running jumper. Ayrton does not hit the rim. Evans lets that go out of bounds for the turnover. Archer over to Evans. Tries to dish it down to Button, but that is intercepted. And Ferner tries to kick it up to not sure who, and Funk was able to intercept that. Funk has to turn over to Archer. Back to Button. Funk in the corner, pump fake, drives, lays it up. That's good, and he gets fouled and will go to the line to try and make it a 3-point play. And that foul was on Ferner, his first, team's first. And Funk's free throw is good, making it a 7-0 game. And Smith drives baseline but is rejected by either Button or Evans. Not able to see that. Archer gets it down over to Funk. Funk's 3-point shot, no good, rims out, goes out of bounds. And it goes to Nopo. Gators pull the defense back. They get the ball over Kibbe. Kibbe to the corner. Daniel's shot no good. Rebound by Evans. Over to Archer. Archer drives, lays it up, no good. Rebound by Ferner. Down to Daniels. Daniels pass gets intercepted by Evans, but that gets back to him. And Daniels attempts a 3-point shot. No good, but Funk rebounded it over to Archer. 5:19 left. Down to Moses. Over to Archer. Over to Evans. Evans, 3-point shot. No, bounces, no good. Rebound by Ferner. Almost intercepted and picked off. But Nopo gets it over to Katie. That 3-point shot no good. Button able to get the rebound. As the Gators come back and forth. Archer able to thread through some people, but he didn't get a good look. Dishes it off to Evans, and Evans lays it up for 2. Making it 9-0 with 4:37 left. And they get it over to Kibbe, and Kibbe's able to go baseline and put up a reverse layup for 2. That's Nopo's first 2 points. They get it down to Moses, back to Funk, over to Evans. Evans, top of the key, and that bounces in for 3. Making it 12-2. Smith over to Daniels. Back to Smith. Smith drives, lays it up, no good. Button with the rebound. Archer over to Funk. Back to Evans. Evans spins baseline, little jumper, no good. Tipped around, Button able to get it. His attempt was no good. Katie will come up with it. And Kibbe, looking for an opportunity, hands it off to Katie. And Katie's able to drive baseline. Gets fouled by Evans. He'll be going to the line for 2. That is Evans' first, team's second. Katie's first attempt is good. Second is also good. Gators get it up quickly to Button. Button drives left-handedly and lays it up for 2. Smith, back to Daniels. Daniels in trouble, looking for his help. Tries to skip past to Katie, but intercepted by Evans. Fast break, 3-on-2. Evans to Archer. No good on both attempts, but Button is able to get there and put that up for 2. And ball is tipped out, and Funk is able to get it in fast break and lays it up for an easy layup, making it 18-4 with 2:24 left in the first quarter. Smith letting the offense generate. Tries to get it down to Ferner. That pass was a little zippy. And Nopo calls a timeout as Ferner checks in. And we'll be back in 30 seconds. Back in the action, 2:05 left. Archer over to Funk. Pump fake, kicks it to Evans. Down to Moses. Moses gets it up for 2. Smith drives. Over to Daniels. Back to Smith. Ferner. 3-point shot, no good. Rebounded by Button. Minute 34 left. Archer over to Moses. That's blocked, but Moses is able to get it back and put it back up, making it 22-4. Smith skips it over to the Kibbe. Over to Ferner. Ferner tries to dump it down to Ferner, but that's no good. And turns it over to the Gators. Archer. Down to Moses. Sees Funk on the baseline. That's no good as it goes over to Button. Back down to Archer. Back down to Funk on the baseline. Jump shot, no good. Button tries to put it back up, but it gets fouled by Ferner. That'll be his first, team's second by my count. Button's first attempt, no good. 45 seconds left in the first quarter here, folks. Second attempt, that's good for him. Making it 23-4. Smith drives baseline, dishes all the way out to Ferner, over to Kibbe. Kibbe tries to drive, and Kibbe gets an offensive foul called, as that's his first, team's third, with 30 seconds left. And the Gators appear to be holding on to last second shot. Archer over to Evans, to Funk. And got a 3-second call against the Gators. Turns it, and the Gators turn it over with 5 seconds left. That's a costly turnover for him. Smith tried to make a move, lost a handle on it. Evans able to get a half-court shot off before the quarter. But that was no good. And we got the Port Allegany cheerleaders coming out to cheer on the crowd. We'll be back in about 60 seconds. Alrighty, folks, as we come out of the intermission, for the Gators, Ruding comes in. And Archer gets it over to Button, back to Ruding. Ruding tries to get over to Button. Button loses a handle on it. Moses able to come up with it, fights for it, puts it up, no good. Gets his real rebound, puts it back up, but gets fouled by Ferner. That is his second, and he'll be going to the line for 2. First attempt, no good. Second attempt rattles in, but that works. Making it 24-4. Smith gets it down to Ferner. Back to Smith. Smith tries to hand it off, and Archer intercepts it. And Archer gets the ball stripped from his hands. Goes out of bounds and stays Port Allegany. Archer gets it to Evans in the corner. A little long on that one, but Archer is able to get the recovery. A little quick floater layup. It's good for 2. Smith over to Daniels. Over to Kibbe. Down to Ferner. A little handoff happening here. They dumped that down to Ferner. And he's able to bank that up for 2. Making it 26-6. Evans sees an open Button down the corner. That's good. Smith over to Daniels. Baseline, no good. Rebound by Moses. Archer to Moses. Button, Evans, over skips back to Archer and then back to Moses. That's no good. Button got it, but he was blocked. As Nopo's able to come up with it. They able to see Ferner down low, unguarded, and he's able to get another basket in. Evans to Button. Back to Evans. Back to Button. Jumper. Rebounded by Kibbe. And Smith's pass is tipped out of bounds. And Sherman and Lewis come in. And Funk comes back in for the Gators. With 5:27 left in the half. Funk able to come up with that block. Gets it over to Archer. To Ruding in the corner. Jumper, no good. Evans with the rebound. Lays it up. That dribbles in. Archer with the steal to Evans. Evans able to lay it up for two. And Sherman hands it off to Smith. Smith gets it over to Lewis. Lewis with a three-point shot. No good. And that is tipped out of bounds by Button. And for the Gators, we've got Troop and Wilfong coming in. Smith to inbounds, gets it over to Sherman. Sherman is able to quickly get it up, but is intercepted. Gators on a fast break. Ruding's layup, no good. Nopo tried to get it up to Smith, but it was Archer breaking up the passing lane, which forced an error. With 4:29 left in the first half. Ruding, Troop, down to Wilfong. Wilfong's pass, no good. Funk able to come up with it. Gets it back to Troop, over to Ruding. Ruding is blocked by Lewis. And Sherman drives, gets past Troop and lays it up for two. Archer gets over to Troop. Down to Ruding. Ruding able to see Funk. Funk had defense collapse on him, had to dish it back out. Over to Troop. Down to Archer. Archer back to Troop. Back to Archer. Over to Ruding. And Ruding gets fouled on a reach-in. That's on Kibbe. That is his second. And Evans comes back in for the Gators. With 3:23 left. Archer has to dish out to Evans. Over to Troop. Archer back to Troop. Troop, three-point attempt. No good. Evans with the rebound. Little jump hook. That's no good. Tipped around, but Troop is able to find Funk underneath and lays that in for two. Making it 34-10, 3 minutes left. Evans broke up the pass. Funk able to come down with it. Comes up, sees Troop in the corner. Troop steps back. That is his spot as he hits for three. And that makes it 37-10 with 2:44 left in the half. And Nopo calls a timeout. And we're going to take a 30-second timeout also. As we come out of the intermission, Calhoun comes in for Archer for the Gators. Kibbe gets it down to Hoops, and Hoops is now in the game. Sherman drives to the right side, but is fouled by Troop. And Sherman will be going to the line for 2. That is Troop's first, team's third. Sherman's first attempt, no good. Second attempt. That rattles in. But no matter what, the way it goes in, doesn't matter. It could went in. Makes it 37-11. Troop in the corner again. That's his spot once again for 3. Making it 40-11. And Smith tried to drive the paint, but as he stopped, he ended up sliding his foot. Called for a travel. Evans brings it down, gets it over Calhoun. And Troop for another 3. Making it 43-11. Sherman over to Smith. Calhoun, or Kibbe to Hoops, to Smith, back to Sherman. Sherman, his attempt, no good. Rebound by Wilfong. Evans drives, hands it off to Wilfong. Back to Troop, over to Calhoun, back to Evans. Evans shot, no good. Rebound by Funk, dishes back to Evans. And Evans' pass was no good, and then Troop has a loose ball foul called against him. That'll be his first. His second, team's fourth. And Crow comes in for Funk for the Gators, and Ferner comes in for the Panthers with 1 minute left in the half. Sherman gets it down to Kibbe, over to Lewis, back to Kibbe, down to Ferner. Ferner drives, no good. Evans to Calhoun. Calhoun drives, lays it up, no good. Ferner is able to track down the loose ball. He lays it up, that attempt no good, gets his own rebound. Second attempt, also no good. Good attempts though. Good hustle back and forth by both sides. Calhoun to Evans. Back to Calhoun. Down to Crow. Crow is blocked. Troop drives baseline jumper, no good. Wilfong gets the rebound, gets the ball stripped. Back to Crow. Crow, I think, was trying to look for a dish out. And almost threw the ball away, but Kibbe was able to track it down for Nopo. And lays it up for 2. That ends up being the half, 43-13. Now, I'll go ahead and do a quick tabulation of who's scored so far. So for Nopo, Sherman with 3, Kibbe with 4, Katie with 2, Inferner with 4. And for the Gators, we have Troop with 9, Archer with 4, Evans with 9, Button with 7, Moses with 5, and Funk with 9. Now, those tallies are unofficial, but we'll be back in about 9 minutes for the second half. Stick right with us, folks. Thank you. Alrighty, folks, as we come out of it, Gators lead 43-13. Starting five is back in for Nopo and Port Allegany. And Smith's pass bounces off Archer's foot, goes out of bounds. And pass gets into Ferner, but that is blocked by Button. Recovered by Nopo, but zipped out of bounds. A little too fast for Smith. Turns it over to the Gators. Archer down to Button. Back to Archer. Archer, three-point shot short. And Katie's pass gets tipped out of bounds by Wilfong. And folks, I've got actually stop the announcing as I've got a outside work issue popping up. I'm just going to mute. Hopefully I'll be back.